Uh, Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Kak.
Before we begin, let's have a short roll call. OG, are you here?
Here and complete, Kak.
Oh, are you here? Opening opposition, are you here?
Yeah, we're here.
Uh, yeah, please mute one of your device when you speak. Closing government, are you here?
Yes, we're here.
Yes, we are here, sir.
Closing opposition, are you here?
Yes, we're
Yes.
here.
I would like to change the background. Wow, not a good idea. Okay. Okay, since like everyone is here, please write down your speaking order in the chat box. On mirroring my video. Opening.
Test. Okay. Is my voice loud and clear enough?
Please send your speaking order here.
Okay, okay. Sorry. Oh, yeah.
Opening opposition. Please send your speaking order.
Yeah, we are here.
Opening opposition, please send your speaking order in the chat box. Please write down who is going to speaking first and who is going to speaking second. Please check the Zoom chat.
Pardon?
Please check the Zoom chat and send your speaking order. Who will be speaking first and who will speaking second.
Yulastri Andriani as leader of opposition and Alaya as the deputy of opposition. Thank you.
All right then. I would like to remind several things. Please also introduce yourself and your POI preference before you begin your speech. And please do, yeah, since there is timekeeper, yeah, but I encourage everyone to also do timekeeping yourself. So without further ado, let's invite Prime Minister. Here.
Test, is my voice loud and clear enough?
Can you repeat?
Test, test, test.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Okay, okay. Oh, let me drink for a second, Kak. Sorry.
Yep. Take your time.
Okay, so my yeah, my gender preferred pronouns, you can she or her,
Oh, sorry, Cha, you're quite robotic.
and POI method
Is it
you
just me?
can
Sorry, Cha,
unmute
is it just
yourself, but
me
please
or
be more mindful and not think if I will take lead. I will try to take you. Starting my speech. Okay, sorry for that. Is it okay now? Yes, I have to change my.
yes, it's okay now.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for that. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. So, how the work will look like under OG? On the mechanization, number one, we say that in these two votes type of motion, we are going to let Eastern Indonesians own 2 votes counted for each one of individual, which means that one individual will be counted as 2 votes even if they vote for one candidate, for example. And number two, this will be applied only in national elections adjudicator, such as like president and House of Representations, not in the local level, like for example voting for governor and so on and so forth. And lastly, we say that there will be more of like socialization about mechanism on how they are like using their votes and so on and so forth. And I will explain why is it going to be likely. Now, moving on. I will explain about 2 things in my speech. How then this motion will be likely to be in line with the interest for the development of Eastern Indonesian, and also how is it going to be in line with the interest of parties and also candidates. Now, before moving on, preemptive mechanism. We believe that opposition will worry about the idea of unfairness. They will worry about the idea of less educated people in Eastern Indonesia. Number one, why is it going to be okay for democracy? We say that democracy in Indonesia especially is very reliant of the idea of quantity of voters, right? Which means that it is most likely that the government are listening to the people or to the majority of the people and the majority of the voices. And we say that people in Eastern Indonesia is experiencing demographical advantages. What does it mean? We say that the number of the populations in the Eastern Indonesia is less compared to the people in West Indonesia, like for example, Java, which means that the number of voters located in Eastern Indonesia is also less. That is the reason why we want to actually cater to this type of things. And I will explain further about the justification, right? But first of all, let's analyze what the problems that has been experienced by Eastern Indonesia as well. They have been marginalized adjudicator as human and also voters. Number one, there have been like lack of good development on education, on electricity, on services, and so on and so forth. And this is being justified because the people in the West or the governments are saying, well, it is because there are lack of human resources for us to build good manufacture, and it is expensive and yada yada. And number two, it is worse because they're justifying. Now they are saying that this is because not most of the major of our voters are there. It is okay for us to actually like focus on strategizing and like find something that is more ideal for us as the government, right? Which means that the interest of politicians to strategize and gain voters is only in Java anyway, and it is okay to be less focused in Eastern Indonesia. And the people do not actually understand about this, right? Because they are like working as a like farmer and so on and so forth. They are kind of like less educated and um, which means that there are the likelihood of prolonged suffer. For example, number one, the marginalized of human resources will be always prolonged, and number two, because they are like suffering from the unstrategic demography for the politics itself. we say that with this motion, there will be the likelihood for the government to re-strategize the politics. How? Number one, they know that now with this motion, the power of Indonesian Eastern votes are very high, and the likelihood of these people to actually change the margin between the winning politicians and the winning parties, the winning candidates, rely on the number of these people, right? Now they're very afraid of the idea of, oh, what if these people just randomly choose and so on and so forth? What if these people do not understand my policies? That will be the incentive of this government to come there and re-strategize now. They want to make sure that they appeal to the most interest of the people in Eastern Indonesia. Now, they want to try to make sure that they do not only educate for formality, but they really educate to cater to any type of policies that can be directly felt by these people, because these people do not understand about maybe, for example, laws and so on and so forth, but they understand the the cost for the things that they sell in the market, for example, and so on and so forth, right? Like economically and also politically. Now, we say that the moment that this motion exists, it is also likely for Eastern Indonesia wanted to be educated educators. So which means that this Eastern Indonesia is not likely like, oh, this what politicians is doing only for their interest. Now they are motivated to also be educated. How? Because now with this motion, they know that they have the power to actually have the 2 votes counted. Their life can be changed by the 2 votes, because now all politicians try to apply. Now, they will be more thorough on checking and balancing the policies that cater to them, that I have explained before, like agriculture, for example, education, health, etc. Economically, for example, sometimes why they are left over, for example, why cannot my sources of raw materials cannot enter the market of Indonesian corporates, for example. It is not because of the lack of standardization. Yes, sure, but they can educate themselves, right? But it is also because of the capitalistic behavior of the corporates that has been justified by the government. Government are saying that, oh, it is okay because maybe these corporates are trying to gain cheaper source of raw materials and so on and so forth. Thus, they take it from other countries, from exported products, for example, compared to UMKM. Yes, we do understand that the raw materials coming from Eastern Indonesia is also for their own people. But sometimes, even if they want to extend their products or goods to the corporates which is located in Java, for example, it is very hard to break the supply chain itself because of the idea of this capitalistic behavior. These people do not understand about this in the first place, because nobody is actually no government is meeting or going there because they have no urgency, right? We said that with this motion, these people are be more likely to understand about this, what has been happening, and they will be have the urgency to actually ask the politicians to explain to them what has been happening. Why cannot I do this? Government will be more likely to listen and also to look at what the problems that they are facing, because now they understand these people can change the margin of their votes. And yeah, for all those reasons, we are proud to open the debate.
Thank you for that wonderful speech. Now I would like to invite the leader of opposition to open the case in the side of opposition bench.
Well, did you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Well, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable the Adjudicator and all of the participants in this debate. The motion today, under the motion today, is this House will give 2 votes for Eastern Indonesians, right? 1 vote, 1 people. And then
Before you go, I would like to remind the timekeeper, please push the start button as soon as the debaters begin speaking lah.
yeah.
LO, are you there?
Yeah.
Oke, jangan lupa pencet tombol startnya ya. Oke, let's invite again the debaters.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable, the adjudicator, and then all of the participants in this debate. Okay, now under the motion today is this House will give 2 votes for Eastern Indonesian, right? And then 1 vote, 1 people. And now, before I'm going to deliver my argument, firstly, I want to repeat what the government or the Prime Minister said before. Okay, told me they said from the Prime Minister said that we were worry about this will be the unfair. Of course, this will be unfair. Why? Because it means that it show our country and show our politics is not good, right? I mean, this is not unfair, and even the beliefness of our society less to the government, right? So it means that I believe this is make an unfair, right? And then the second one is from the Prime Minister say it's just like I don't understand, the people don't understand, so it means this is so when our society doesn't understand about this, and then it means that this is the responsibility of the government, right, to give the educated, to give like explanations about how we put it, and who will be who the candidate, the good candidate to be voted. So it means this is the responsibility from the government, right, to educate it, and then explanation the society, and then even the reason from the Prime Minister say it is they will give 2 votes for Eastern people because the limit or the lack of people from the Eastern people, right? But we know that this is our democracy, and standing by the status quo now is 1 people, one vote. It means that this is will show us that we are the consistent people, we are like a consistent country, and then we have like a healthy political, right? And then it doesn't mean like listening to majority, but this is the human right. It's not, and there is borders about that. And then now I'm going to I'm deliver to my argument. Of course, when someone's becoming a leader, there is we must throw what is called like an election, right? Even like presidents and anything like that. Then everyone has the right to vote and in elected, and everyone has the right to exercise their right to vote as good as they can for the sake of continuity of the stage. And then the right to vote also cannot be taken over to anyone. It means that when someone have and then now our motion is 2 vote. It means that when someone have a 2 votes, they have like a chosen, and then it's when they have 2 votes, it means that they will be like not good enough when they voting themselves. And in our status quo now, load of people or our society, there is a less of educated, right? So that's why there is like a lose their vote because they don't have an educated. So this is the responsibility of the government should explanation that 1 vote is 1 vote, 1 people, right? And then now when we have like 1 vote, one people, it show us that we are like a good chooser, right? We are a smart chooser, and we are a payer, and of course we are like a consistent people, and uh, the the exclusion of the Eastern along with a great electional disparate and result and in a in a balance in election. And then this can will cause then this the second one is this is this case will make like another place or another island, and will be like get a jealousy because toward the community front of the government side just will be just two for Eastern people. It's mean like there is like social cases that will be growing up beside these two pots, right? And then the second is the next one is about selling their pot when when someone has two pot. It means that this is make like a change for a dirty political to our country, right? And then by holding two pots, this will tie or show the democracy from the political side is even say to be a deteriorating, because this will provide it an opportunity to trade their votes, right? Because they have like a two votes. This way there will be like a very dirty voting system. This is where there will be a very dirty voting system. Once they will feel safe because, oh, I have a two pot, so the pot is to myself, and another pot I will sell it to get money. This is make like to product like not a good generation, right? And then when one pot is for themselves and then the other pot is traded, this will make us less intelligent voters, and if this is needed, it will create a generation that is less intelligent in voting. That we know that in status quo we are less of educated, right, about this voting. And then so that's why if there is like a rule about the two votes for the Eastern Indonesian, whatever, just even the less of people. Thank you.
Thank you for the speech. Thank you for the wonderful speech. Now I would like to invite the Deputy Prime Minister to continue Oji's case.
Hi guys, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, my general pronounce is Dedam. My pure preference, just keep it through. Oh, just unmute yourself because I'm not gonna see the text box, right? So I'm going to start my speech in 3. Mana ya tadi? Sorry guys. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Educators realizing that the only premise coming from the opening oppositions and the whole benches of oppositions first, they talk about the unfair, right? And they're talking about how if like Papuan people are very uneducated, that's why black campaign and money politics are going to be there. Two response on the idea of unfair. We think that because they are being specialized, they're saying that, you know, this is not unfair on the other democratic questions, right? But under our side of the house, we say that democracy can be shifted when it's needed to adjudicate, right? But two, specialization is not very exclusive in current status, right? Especially in Indonesia. That's why you give Aceh, for example, their own law, right? Or even, you know, Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta that create their own law, right? So the idea of specializations is not something that everyone would criticize about, right? But two, on the other black campaign, they're saying that there will be money politics and whatnot. We think that they don't randomly choose the persons, right? Because Papuan people are not going to randomly choose the politicians, because now parties will conduct politic educations there. They are going to do campaign. They are so the access to the information is going to be there, right? You know, so the idea of education is not really exclusive. Now, the frequency of campaign inside the Easter are going to be higher because these parties are going to take the urgency, saying that these people need to be educated because they are afraid not being chosen, right? The frequency for these people to access the educations of politics are going to be much higher under outside the house, right? Or even if there's many politics exist, one, there is checks and balances coming from the parties and the people. We said that the parties embassy are going to be there, right? Because the enthusiasm of the parties is there. So parties is watching each other. In case that there's money politics, parties will exposing each other because they want to because they want the reputations of these countries, these parties are going to be bad. Because right now the competitions between these countries very much tired educators, right? So we think that in case there is parties do evil thing, we think that other parties not feeling, not afraid to actually exposing them in order to make sure that the career of these politicians are going to be dead, right? And they're talking about the jealousy. Other people are going to be jealous, right? We think this no, right? Because people in general actually feel and know the struggle of Papuan people. They know that discrimination exists, right? So we think that other general people are going to feel empathy, right, to the into Papuan people. So we don't think that people are going to be jealous and whatnot. Now I'm going to talk about why didn't this justified. Number two are what are the sovereignty that these Eastern people are going to get, right? This is the thing. What is the problem of Indonesia? Eastern people is left behind, right? The growth of economy is slower, right? Not being heard. Discrimination exists. Infrastructures is not well built. Even Jokowi has done that. Even Jokowi has done in jalan and whatever. We don't think it's going to be enough. The forest of Papuan people were mostly never get permission from these Papuan people or these local peoples, right? The approval only contingent upon central government only, right? That Papuan people don't have voice to cancel and approve whether or not this company is allowed to operate and whatsoever. It shows you that the government don't care about Papuan people and the Eastern people as general, because government only care about the money that they are going to get, right? Within that, or even police brutality that easily to kill Papuan people or people in Eastern. Eastern people as whole, that they're seen as unworthy human beings, right? Discriminations against Papuan people has been going on for decades, right? But politicians or those who sit in power don't bring this as urgency thing into the discourse, right? That's why the victim is keep rising, right? Discrimination is the reasons why Papuan Barat Merdeka movement or even Maluku Merdeka movement exists, right? Because they're not heard, and feels like they're not part of the country, right? So that is why the rebellion coming from extremist group exists, right? What kind of politicians that exist in the current school? They only want power, knowing that politicians of Java is, knowing that populations of Java is the highest, is promising for them to only campaign and doing impact in Java only, because they think that Java is base voters for them, right? We don't necessarily create impact in Eastern, right? Because they don't think that Eastern people is their base voters. Now, when you give power to Eastern people, politicians would consider them as place to gain voter as much as possible. That's why they will create urgency and campaign to create impact, right? Inside of Eastern Indonesia. For example, campaigning to end discriminations or even campaigning for human rights, building school, build hospital, conducting political educations, funding NGO that perceive the welfare of Eastern, right? Or even donations, or even creating job, training for job, for example. We think that this is very pragmatic, but we think it is okay because as much as you want to be seen as hero to these Papuan people, it is okay for you to give us money as much as possible, right? Because we want to be chosen, for example, right? Knowing the fact that Papuan people are very less in terms of economy, we are going to gain money as much as possible coming from these politicians. They want to get public persona and whatever, right? Parties base will be more circulated in Eastern because they are afraid that they're not chosen in the elections. Most importantly, they are heard, included in the decision making. The moment when this company build factory, for example, these people now have power to stop the exploitations or to cancel this factory and whatnot. But two, it reduced the tension between Indo and extremist movement. For example, Papua and Barat Merdeka, that now they're heard, they're they don't know, they don't find the reasons why they want to spread, because right now they are being specialized and they are being heard. Right now they are being heard, right? So the momentum when you actually specialize these people, this extremist group wouldn't like find the urgency. Why would I go from Indonesia where I'm being specialized? Why would I go from Indonesia where I literally being specialized and have the power to actually choose which one of the politicians is suitable for my own people? We're very proud to propose. Thank you.
Thank you for the wonderful speech. Now I would like to invite Deputy Leader of Opposition.
Check. Am I audible?
Yes, please mute another device that is around you because it's a little bit.
Can you repeat? Yeah.
Yes, you're audible.
Apanya?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Well, starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Well, respectable adjudicator and all of participants in this debate, before my moving to my argument, I want to repeat several thinking about from the government side. All of the argument from the government side talking about the discrimination. So, respectable adjudicator. So, if we give 2 votes to the Eastern Indonesian, it's the guarantee or not to determine discrimination, or it's not a guarantee to they can take the better life, they can take the good economic, they can take the like not racist in their life. So the discrimination is if we give to vote to the Eastern Indonesian, is is a show that they can they show that it's not the discrimination. This is not discrimination when we give 2 votes to the Eastern Indonesian. No, the adjudicator. Why? Because we don't talk about the discrimination that here, because of we don't talk about the if we give 2 votes to the Eastern Indonesian, they can take the better life or economic and another side. Well, ladies and gentlemen, and the first and the second rebuttal and from the OG say that these 2 vote just conduct to the national election. Example, president and their deputy. Well, imagine adjudicator when we give 2 votes to national election. Imagine national election. This involvement all of society in our country, right? So if we imagine we just maybe just choose the top leader in our campus or in our university or our school, just the top leader of OSIS, maybe for example, it can be if we give 2 chance or 2 votes for the student, so it can make not consistent in their vote. The first one, if we imagine that the first one, the winner of the candidate is the candidate A, and the second election is the winner is the candidate B. So this is can make the government or our society is confused. Who will be the candidate? Who will be the candidate? The candidate A or the candidate B? So if we application this for the national election, even national election, so it can make the conflict. It can make the chaos in our society, in our country, because of the we choose the president. If involve all of country, all of society in our country, and then respectable adjudicator, and so that we cannot conduct, we cannot apply these two votes before. Why? Because the first one is it can make confusing in our country, in our society. Exactly, because of who will be the winner, the candidate A or the candidate B. When the first election the candidate A is win, and the next or the second election the candidate B is win, it's probably occur or happen. Because why? Because when the as the leader of opposition say that when the distance between the election the first election and the second election, there is the like bribe, bribe. The society, the candidate can give the money for the society to choose them when the candidate, another candidate is lost in the first election. So it's not fair in our society if we give the two votes to our society. Okay, focus to Eastern Indonesian. Well, we see, if we see, as we know that the pillar of our country in the Pancasila, in the fifth Pancasila, is the justified is very important. Justice is very important, because of the people just have one vote the one people just have one vote. This is the status quo in our democracy. When we give two votes to build in our country, because of this rule was conduct or was applied from the first president Sukarno formally. So if we conduct this rule, it can break our rule, our act in our country. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the first one, my argument is can make the government or society is confusing who will be the winner, and it can make the conflict in our society. And the second argument is if we give the two votes to Eastern Indonesian, it can make our society in another place. I mean, that is not in the eastern part of Indonesia. It will make the other society jealous. Jealous. Why? Because they can vote twice. It's because their number of their society is less. So it can show that we give them two votes. Why? Because it's okay if their society just lack or less. It's okay. We can take just that, because of we cannot force because of their number of their society is lack or less. It can give them two votes, but it's not the best solution, ladies and gentlemen, because of we very strongly stand in status quo. Is the justice is our country is very important. One people have one vote, and then when we don't give two vote to Eastern Indonesian, it's not show this discrimination, ladies and gentlemen. So we very glad to oppose this motion. Thank you.
Thank you for the wonderful speech. Now I would like to invite the government member to open the closing debate.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, can you hear my voice?
Yes.
I will begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our motion today is the House would give two votes for Eastern Indonesia. It's very interesting topic. So first thing I would like to give you here that many areas in Indonesia has been separated by the sea. We know that Indonesian population large. That's why Indonesia have many islands. In this case, Indonesian population has been Eastern population. In this case, we would say that Eastern Indonesian have 30% of the number of population. So if the context is presidential election, that we have to vote for Eastern Indonesia for some reason. First, my reason is the area of Eastern Indonesia has limits of education. So that's why we need to more educate the Eastern people of Indonesia, but we start to focus here that how to vote will be better. And I, as the closing government, very support this motion. So and next, the number of population of Eastern Indonesia just a little than Western Indonesian here. So before going to my point, that I would like to read from the leader of opposition. That's the responsibility of the government to share knowledge, the responsibility, right? So the responsibility of the government to share the knowledge, or we need to educate it and socialize about democracy to the citizen. Well, this word that, let's say, first, in the elementary school, you have to learn about how to be a good citizen by citizenship education. That's why there was a talk about the nature of democracy there. So in this case, this problem we will meet sooner or later. So and next is from the closing opposition, that confusing who will be the leader or who will be the winner of for example, presidential election. There will be no confused if we have to socialize a good what the nature of democracy then when the urgent has come. So that's why we prepare to flexible election for all of the population, but we focused on Eastern Indonesia. That's right. And next is, I'm sorry. And here we go to the point. The first is the government give us the facilities to put someone as the leader. For example, in the context of presidential election, of course, we need good democracy here. That's why we are, as the government team, we when I hear good democracy in Indonesia right now, there are several things that our society has choose the rule of good voting. First is why we support that one person will code to vote, because the first reason is, as we know that Eastern Indonesia population is not so big, then Western Indonesian as a big population. Like one of the speakers said that it will be a discrimination. No, sorry, that will be a discrimination. Yes, because when the big population give one vote to one person, that's why it will be a discrimination for a little population of Eastern Indonesia. So, and next is the enthusiasm of everyone when there is the voting for a leader. That's one of the example that we want Indonesia to be a good country. That's why we need to be fair to get goals from politism context here. So, and next, let me show you the comparing about the power of Eastern Indonesian people that we know. Java has a big population. You cannot compare it with Papua area. That's right. So that's why if Java put one person to be the leader, and that if the Papua New Guinea has put one person to be a leader, and the Java is a winner, it will be not fair, right? So, and next, discrimination here will be showed like when the Eastern Indonesia vote, but their population is not supported to be a winner, to winner a leader they want, there will be a jealousy of the Eastern Indonesian population, right? So, and the last one, let's say that from closing opposition, that's broke our rule of democracy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is so dangerous word from you that broke our rule of democracy, because from era that democracy always be up to date. That's why you need to up to date, ladies and gentlemen, right? So this case to give to give two votes for Eastern Indonesia will be paced for us as Indonesian country sooner or later. Sooner or later. That's why we need to be up to date to always update about the democracy in this era. So that's why I very support this motion. And the last I say, thank you very much.
Thank you for that wonderful speech. Now I would like to invite the closing opposition member of opposition.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I would like to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now let's see from the opening government talk about the. Before I go into my argument, let's see the case that opening government told us about the discrimination or the organization that's make the organization movement in Eastern because of discrimination. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in this case, we don't talk about the discrimination. This discrimination causes because of they as less voters, and then that's why they get discrimination, and then because of that they want to make their own suitable for their own political system for their own people. But the thing that we should know that the discrimination comes up because of they want to our government look at them. So this is not because just you give them two votes. That means that the discrimination is clear, and it's become we don't discrimination them again. So this is not the way to clear up to the discrimination. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, in the opening opposition said about jealousy and fear and so on and so far. But in this case, they forget about the quality of the candidate or the election candidate. For example, let me give you example. For example, in the election of president, in this case, not only president, we know that in Indonesia we have the election of member of parliament, which is in this case a member of parliament comes from various regency, various area, various areas. So in this case that happened now, we know that we not deny that nowadays is when the candidate from the candidate of the election is wins by where they get more voters, they get more voting. But now we know that this as a opposition, we know that this motion comes up because of the population of the Eastern Indonesia is less than the Western Indonesia. But ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine nowadays, like I said before, the people, the candidate that chosen just because of the population from their own regency. Now, if we give the Eastern people to vote, it means open more capability to candidate people that sit in our parliament just based on their regency, just based on their area, not based on their quality that they have to lead our country to representative our society, ladies and gentlemen. And then now the continue my in my argument, the idea of the idea of voters, we know that even you give I mean that, for example, you give 2 votes in Western I mean that in Eastern Indonesia, it's still potential because of the condition of the area is not, the facility in public facility is not as good as Western Indonesia. It's open the capability to dirty political to come into them the society based on to give them facility, and it's make our quality of candidate is not eligible to sit in our parliament, ladies and gentlemen. We know that we want to create the our candidate in parliament is become have a quality, not quantity of voters, ladies and gentlemen. So we know that this we have democracy right now is one person is one voters. This is already great system. This is already great system, because if you do this system by give 2 votes for Eastern Indonesia, it will make the status quo worse, not make it better than the status quo right now, ladies and gentlemen. And okay, let's see in the status quo. We have one votes for one person. It's already great, because it is we have a system, and it's still having a lag, so that our government no need to make another system like give 2 votes for Eastern Indonesia, just and it will make and then should to make socialize it to our society, to Western people, how the system does. It will take a time and also make the status quo worse. Well, thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful speech. Now I would like to invite the government whip to close the case.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, under the motion, this House would give 2 votes to Asian Indonesians. That means that, but before that, I will say that, I'm sorry. Okay, all of the opposition benches stated that it is unfair. The case is unfair to give the 2 votes or double votes for the Western Indonesia. Stated that it will break the democracy of Indonesia itself, ladies and gentlemen, because in the democracy has stated that 1 vote for 1 person only. But ladies and gentlemen, we have stated to you that yes, democracy is the democracy, but you can set the democracy wherever it is can be needed, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see the conditions of our country, ladies and gentlemen. He said that the discrimination itself happened in the Indonesia, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, and you have also stated that the quality of votes is better, much better than the quantity of voters, ladies and gentlemen. That is why that is called the discrimination, ladies and gentlemen. You stated that you have indirectly status that Java or Sumatra and Indonesia much better in quality voters give them special to make them special or to specialize them, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a significant, ladies and gentlemen. That also doesn't guarantee that when you give 2 votes or you count 2 votes, double votes for the essence Indonesia, that the candidates will be with the population disparity. You know, the populations of Indonesia has not been counted by the government, ladies and gentlemen, because we know the center of politics, the center of economy is much more located in Java, for example, ladies and gentlemen. That is why this is the strategy for government to give to develop or to give improvements for the essence Indonesians, that we know that we are in the upgrade down by the government itself, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see in the case of elections and the previous elections, many previous elections, ladies and gentlemen, the candidates have always campaigned in the potential area like in Java, in Sumatra, ladies and gentlemen, because they know that the voters there are enough to them to win the election, ladies and gentlemen. That is why we give 2 votes or double votes for the essence Indonesia, so that in the future, when the candidates know that the votes are counted too, they will be much more attracted, or they will be much more carefully. They will have an idea to promote themselves and also to develop those areas on the essence Indonesia, so that it will be not as it will be more developed than before than the Sumatra and the Java and others, ladies and gentlemen. And you always talk about human right and the OO, and also yes, it is about human right, ladies and gentlemen. And now if we still silent in this case, so we don't want an improvements, so it will always happen, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see the impacts in the future. It is more important than what you call the you call that you call is this dirty voting system, but it is not like that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see the future impacts for this, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the abstentions in Java or in the Western Indonesia are much better, ladies and much more, ladies and gentlemen. You give now 2 votes for the essence Indonesia, it will build the awareness of all Indonesians to be aware that their voice are matter. So the Java people will say that. So I will use my voice carefully, because I know that the Papua or Antebe's voice are counted double. So I will not my voters will be I will use my voter as good as I can, ladies and gentlemen. They will think like that, ladies and gentlemen. And also, if you think that sorry. And also, ladies and gentlemen, you said that in the closing government that discrimination comes for some reason. Yes, discrimination is something that every case of discrimination is not good for any reason, ladies and gentlemen. You can say that discrimination happened for something. Yes, it is. It comes because of something. So that is why discrimination should be abolished in Indonesia. So it doesn't mean, or it doesn't guarantee that if we give posts, so it is really matter for them, ladies and gentlemen. This is the strategy for us to give or to build the Indonesia, so that it will the economic side, the education side will be much inequality, ladies and gentlemen. So the education, the economic side will not be always developed in the area of Western Indonesia. So because they know that as an Indonesia's voice are also matter for them. That is why we would like to give awareness for the government itself, ladies and gentlemen. That is why, in this case, the democracy is good. We offer you the much better kind of form of democracy itself, ladies and gentlemen, because we know that the essence Indonesia is, yes, we know that Indonesia's essence have less of population. That is why we want to give that. It's not that discrimination, ladies and gentlemen, to give them that voice because of some reasons that we face in our country, ladies and gentlemen. It is at least we have done something that matter for them, and we have something that important to build the essence Indonesia also, because it is the strategy to build that. And ladies and gentlemen, we also see from the previous case that Amin and Jokowi, who are who have been campaigning in the area of Java, also much more in Java. So we would like to give them see that this is we are access, ladies and gentlemen. The access Indonesia are access. So, and also, if you are worried about the candidates who are win, it doesn't guarantee that when the Papua, for example, have two votes, they will directly win, because they're having two votes, ladies and gentlemen. So, because of some reasons that I have told you, that I propose this motion. Thank you.
Thank you for the wonderful speech. Now I would like to invite the opposition whip to close the debate.
Am I audible? Excuse me.
Yes.
Okay. Please give me a second to set my timer. Wait, I'm sorry. Okay. My pronoun preference is she or her, and my you can give the POI whether it's from the text or just unmute yourself. So I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am from the opposition bench right now. I want to give some rebuttal to the government or the government team. First, the opening government said that the people from Eastern area will be more motivated to educate themselves. But what I want to say right here is that how can they how can they educate themselves furthermore from what they are doing right now when they don't have the facility to do so? And and also and and the opening government also said that this discrimination is the thing that causes the separation movement. And right here, what I want to say is what we have to do is not giving another power to one side. What we have to do right here is just removing the discrimination by educating people about equality at all races, that we have to treat people not good or bad affected because of their races or the color of their skin. We have to educate them to respect those people from the Eastern area, not making new way of conflict by giving more power to one side. Now, imagine if we give the 2 votes or specialty to the Eastern people. It doesn't even, like what my first speaker said, it doesn't give a solution to stop the problem of discrimination. It will rise up the persaingan between the 2 sides. It means that when they have power, and then it is possible that they will feel that, oh, okay, this is time for me to prove like it that they are more special. That is not the way to show that they are special just because of the specialty of 2 votes. They have to believe that they are special and equal to other races, not just because they're human, not because of the votes that the governments are giving to them. And then um, that is what OG is basically talking about. They are talking about how the number of Eastern people compared to Western or Central is less, and how they will educate themselves or be more motivated to regarding to their power. And they are also talking about the discrimination, how it can affect the belonging towards the country of the Eastern people. Now, what I said previously is that we have to educate people who thinks Eastern people are inferior to them. Therefore, the problem will be solved. We're not going to give. We are not going to add another problem by giving power to the Eastern people. And then the opening opposition is 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 mostly talk about the jealousy, but jealousy that can be caused by the 2 votes specialty to Eastern people. But they don't explain more about how this jealousy can be dangerous towards our country, and in how it can put our country our nation to a worse situation. Now, right here I want to say that once they are, like what I said before, when they are given the 2 votes to voice in the national in the election, then it can make it a bigger separation towards a bigger community of people. We are talking about a nation. It's in the entire country. The separation will happen not only in certain Eastern people, but in the whole nation. And then yeah, so, and however, the closing government is also talking mostly about discrimination, while that has been already delivered by the opening government. So I don't think I should give more rebut to that. Now give um now to what my first speaker already said, that people in the Eastern are less educated, just like what the opening opposition said. But here, I want to explain why this less educated thing can affect the justice or the justice of the election itself. It's how people are less educated because of the ketidakrataan pendidikan or infrastructure. Therefore, they can be easier it can be easier for the politician who has bad intention to mempengaruhi this Eastern people more than the Western or even Central. Now, why I said so? It's because once they're given what so-called specialty of 2 voices or votes, people or politician who has bad intention will approach them right away, even before they have more appropriate facilities or infrastructure in education or other aspects or maybe economy. And also, my first speaker also mentioned that about parliament or representatives of the people. They represent people voice from each area, and it is based on the number of people. Somehow this is what we call justice and equality, because it is based on the number of lives in certain area. It's because okay, people are less in the Eastern people, but it not only in president election, but in the parliament election, is that it's based on the life of people in a certain area and the number of that people. So yeah, I will say that by giving 2 votes to the Eastern people is not the solution to overcome all the problems that are mentioned by the government bench. So yeah, we are proud to oppose the motion. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you for the debate. The result will be announced in the main room. So yeah, you can go back to the main room as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Kak. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Halo ya.
Hello.
I think that the guest building has already over because
Okay.
it's 9 past already.
Okay. Hi everyone.
Ya kakak Yayat.
Okay, before we're going to start the debate, I would like to make sure that all the teams are already here. First of all, I would like to say congratulations, guys, because you passed into semi-final round. Laufal, are you here?
Yeah, here.
Apprentice Green Exchange, are you here?
Yes, we are here, Kak.
Okay, Skylight.
Yes, we're here.
Kelor Kelak Santan. Okay, Kelor Kelak Santan, are you here?
We are here.
So, okay, we're going to start the debate. I don't need to explain the rule of this debate because this is actually semi-final round. Our motion for today is this house would give to vote for Eastern in Indonesia. So, to start this debate, let's call the Prime Minister. Give applause. They're here.
Hello.
Yes, you are.
Hello, well, wait, I'm sorry. Hello, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is your Prime Minister of this house for today. So before I hit my arguments, I will going to read again about the motion. This house will give 2 votes for Eastern Indonesia. So I'm going to give some definition about the keyword in the motion, which is 2 votes for Eastern Indonesia. 2 votes. We define the 2 votes mean in referring to the community being required to revote or voting to give a revote after they give their first vote. If we find something wrong, or if we find something suspicious, that such as fraud or the election paper is broke or something and so on. And also, I'm going to give you the reason why we need to give 2 votes for Eastern Indonesia, and why this is very necessary and important to do. First of all, we all know there's might be a lot of obstacles that we might face when we do the election, and then I'm going to give you the reason, there is an error in voting, if there is error in voting, such as the fraud, we need to do the revoting or give the second times to the Indonesian, the Eastern Indonesian to do the voting, So the revoting will be done if the election place in Indonesia, we call it TPS. If the TPS or the election officer does not conduct the voting process properly. Similarly, if the
TPS officer does not conduct the vote count, it is not done based on the provisions set by the KPU. So the officer asks. So the officer need to give when the officer try to make something such a fraud. The officer will ask to some people to give a special marks on the paper. So this is not impossible. This is not impossible that will happen for the KPPS officer to ask voters at the office at the election place to give special marks, such as to sign them or writing down their name or asking to give other special signs to the ballots that have been used. So if that happens, the election officer must give the second time to vote, or we call it revote, because this is a form of cheating. And then also there's a lot of there's another reason about why we need to give the two votes, or we call it a revote. Here is another reason. If we found the ballot is damaged or the damaged ballot, if the voter finds that the ballot paper that have been used have been tampered with by officer at the polling station, then we must report it, because if you have cast your ballot correctly but the officer destroy it, so the ballot will be invalid because it is damaged. And also there might be another reason why we need to revote is like wait a minute. Oh yeah, if we found something like maybe natural disaster occurs, like when we are in the selection area, there might be a lot of reason that made we need to do the revote, just like what I told you before, I explained to you before, and this is might be the last reason. It's natural disaster. It is not impossible that it will cause a revote, because the natural disaster can change the result of voting that have been carried out due to the natural disaster in the in the election area. And then we believe if this house will give two votes for Eastern Indonesia, so it will make to make the election more crystal clear with the best or with the best final result. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for DPM. And to continue the case of this debate, let's call a leader of opposition.
Okay, I'm here as opening opposition. And before that, okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I would like to do my speech in 3, 2, 1. But for the first thing, I would like to do a rebut to the opening government. The opening government said that they got broken paper, and if we give, they got broken paper while the election. But if we give more than it, then it will give a big impact to the fee of the election itself, and it will give impact also to the other election. As we know that in Indonesia, there is a big in each island every single island need like a process to have this kind of paper. Okay, then I will go to the, that's the first rebut. The second rebut is the opening government here didn't give enough characterize about this motion. First, we are talking about this motion is talking about this house would give 2 votes for Eastern Indonesia. The problem here is to vote for who? For Eastern Indonesia. So what means that it will be different from the other kind of specialization for whom? For Eastern Indonesia, for like Papua, for NTT, for Maluku, for Ambon, and the affirmation area. Why would it must give, or the problem is about 2 votes? As we know that, okay, the problem is about Eastern Indonesia got some discrimination from what? From like physical, like, you know, when people say, you look like monkey, you have, okay, in that what people say, you look like a monkey, or you are stupid in people, you are really black in people, and from health facilitation also they really low from public facilitation, and that's kind of thing that we want to give them a specialization in other what? In other, they don't want to be apart from us. Look like the organization of Papua Merdeka, they are trying to push us to give them, they want to release, they want to stay out from us. That's why we need to give them specialization. But if we are focused on the 2 votes, then the other area, like Western area, like Aceh, they will give us question also that I am here, I am speaking here, I want to, apart from Indonesia also, if you just give a specialization to the West, to the Eastern, then what about me? That will give a biggest problem again. But then here, why would they give a specialization while the other area? No, thank you. And if the question is about that, they are live in people. So what about other area? So the next one is this kind of thing will make a part between the area of the Indonesia, and it will give a big problem in this time. While the pandemic, while we need to unite, while we need to struggle together, and it will increase the problem about the nationality. Then, like Western gonna feel, they will speak up, they will ignore, while they have more capacity, they have more capability to be apart from us, and it's really a big deal. And then about the solution here is, there are many other solutions to give specialization to this kind of thing. Not just about when we want to give a specialization to make a tight on the Eastern area, then we give 2 votes, while there are so many bad impact of that, like it will increase of the fee, then the distribution of the fee, and then the other also will ask for the specialization. While we already give them specialization, like what? In Eastern area, we give them specialization in the scholarship. We give them easier to be a part in the military. We also trying to give them facilitation in the transportation now. We're trying to have them. And if we still just focus on them, look like we leave other area like Western area. And that's going to be the problem. Well, like I said before, that there are so many solutions to give specialization for them, not just about this kind of thing. Like we can facilitate them in education. Here the problem is education. Well, people now in the condition of pandemic, they need smartphone, they need quota, they need the signal to access, but they don't have that. So we must to pay attention on that condition. When we give them specialization on that kinds of thing, where they really need that, they will know that we really care of them. We want to interact with them. We really want to make them tied with us. We don't want them released, and that's gonna touch their heart, and that's gonna give dominance to people, and the member of the Papua Merdeka will less and less and less, because of if we touch to the heart, if we touch to their necessary, that's will really give a big impact to them. And then we give them facilitation of the health better. Now the condition of pandemic look like we also really in the condition of PPKM here we are really need a vaccine. But the question is, what about them? Here the data show that we still in really a low that people in Indonesia got vaccinated. But what about them? Are them already got the vaccine, or the question not yet, like that? So we can make the better in that part. Then the transportation, maybe the transportation is good but not as good as what happened in Java, like in Jakarta, like that. And then we give the better election in other way, like when we facilitate in the technology, they can make better access to the election via technology. Why don't we do such a thing like that? And the subsidy access, like they can got better when about meal, about food, about drink, like that. I think that's will be better than we give 2 votes, and it will give kind of discrimination for Western part. I think that's all. And here I stand for the opposition that I don't agree with 2 votes for Eastern. Thank you so much.
Thank you for leader opposition. So let's call to continue this debate. Deputy leader of government, Deputy Prime Minister. Sorry.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Wait a minute. Okay. This is your deputy of government. I'm gonna talk about the 2 votes right now. I'm adding a new explanation about the 2 votes in here. I mean, 2 votes is 2 votes in the Eastern Indonesia. I mean, the Eastern Indonesian people, the Eastern Indonesia people can have 2 votes for their self. I mean, like this. They can have a constituency vote that they are choosing an individual candidate to represent, and they can have a regional vote that they can choosing a party or independent candidate to represent. Okay. I'm gonna take the point from the opposite leader that she is saying that the discrimination discrimination that if the Eastern Indonesian have 2 votes. I mean, why was there some discrimination? I mean, that's how we erase the discrimination.
Point.
No thanks. Okay, the discrimination. I mean, like this. They can have 2 votes because we need to erase the discrimination, like you said before. The 2 votes is meaning they have 2 votes to choosing from the individual candidates and from the party. And here we can see that the Papua is a regional that having a lot of ethnic, right? Having a lot of party in there. So they can represent their self in the ethnic ways to having a represent of individual to put on the election if they have, and they can be put their party if they have. So the election can be I'm sorry, right? Pardon me. Okay. The election will have 2 ballot papers. 2 ballot papers. No, thank you. Okay. And the two ballot papers is depending on the which legislative council or regions that they will apply. I mean, if they have a if they have if they have an agricultural party, that the party that having a work on agricultural, they can put the individual to the election. Okay, so sorry,
POI?
no thanks. So yeah, the two votes is meant that we can have a two candidates. Which one that we are think that can make the regional is more advanced, more developed, and for the Eastern Indonesian, that's how it must supposed to be for us, for Indonesian government to give a two votes right to the Eastern Indonesia. Maybe that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to Deputy of Prime Minister.
Yes.
So now let's call Deputy of Leader Opposition.
I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker. Can I have minutes or 2 minutes?
Okay.
I have something to do first.
Okay.
I'm sorry, judges. Okay. Mr. Speakers, committee, you can, I will start my speech, actually. You can POI me and turn on your mic, but please don't do it openly because it will distracting me a little bit. Just turn on your mic, and if I refuse you, then turn off your mic. My prepared subjectivity is E. So I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay. I think from the opening benches, like it is so unfortunately in our debate that I think Prime Minister did not show on why this motion exists, on why we should give 2 votes for Eastern Indonesia. And there is no mechanism, there is no characterization on how these 2 votes will give this house will like. So they have not shown any plan on how these 2 votes will work in the future, especially for the political system. So they will not give the true problem, right? So, and then they did not specifically said of who is those Eastern Indonesia is and why we deliberately want to change our democratic way that we have been built for years since 1945 to in our current political system. They did not show why Eastern Indonesia should have those privilege. They did not talk about that. And Prime Minister actually they spent talking about 5 minutes of the report, I think it is a weak scenario of how the debate should go. Okay. Okay, let us run back to our problem. So, Eastern Indonesia. Let's talk about Eastern Indonesia first. So, they felt oppressed, right? And as the indigenous society, and then if we want to change democracy in a way to give them privilege, it is about privilege, right? About 2 votes. And then from the opposition side, we want to give this. We are challenging this plan. Why this plan will not work? I will give them more explanation. So here's the thing. In Indonesia, actually, there is already specialization. This specialization is all about the whole thing, right? Indonesia is Nusantara. Indonesia is not about Eastern. Indonesia is about Western also. It's about the middle, maybe. So, Indonesia has already did something actually to those Eastern people. Maybe the closing will talk about how they felt oppressed, how they felt like, how they felt the discrimination that have been happened in our country, and where is the Java Central maybe. But we want to give some clarification on how Indonesia already has done something to those people. We give them affirmation way for the students, for the youngsters to enter college. That is the act of our government to show the support on those oppression that have been felt. And then after the first speaker said that we give more easier chance to be army or police or to be PNS in anything. And there is right now in the Jokowi's government, we built a Trans Papua project. All of those efforts are form of lobbying from government on how to stabilize the condition towards the problem. We do acknowledge the discrimination that happened, the oppression that they felt. But here's the thing. Let me tell you something about Indonesia first. So, Indonesia is diversity with its complex nature of society. If we look at the other sides where in Indonesia, in West Indonesia, let's talk about Aceh first. Actually, in Aceh, as we can see, we see the fact that if we talk about the oppression, we should talk about how Acehnes feel estranged, where this is the fact actually. Where in their KTP, they got different KTP compared to the other provinces. Why? It is a discrimination also from the government towards those Acehnes people. And why we don't give them 2 votes for the Western Indonesia? Why? That is discrimination too, right? Oh, so that's why we do oppose this plan to give 2 votes. This will hurt. This will they oppressed too. Actually, West Indonesia also have a complex problem with Eastern Indonesia, and we do question about why the privilege should be happen to those Eastern Indonesia. Second, let's talk about how this idea will hurt our democracy. It is very dangerous act on how we will change all of the political system. It is, as we can say, that will give more barriers between Western Indonesia and like Western Indonesia will ask to the government why this like we say that from the Borneo people that were oppressed in the borders, like why they should get 2 votes? We also did have been felt same about those about what Eastern people in Indonesia, but we don't have a privilege. Why? This is why we'll give more barriers actually. So Papuan people like felt the discrimination, and this will give more like give some sort of jealousy. Some sort of jealousy, of course, will happen to Western Indonesia also. It is also very problematic on how this implementation. We want Eastern Indonesia is getting right. We want to use other way than this, and we are actually about how Eastern Indonesia has given its effort, that we are talking about. I'm sorry, this is 20 minutes, but you stop minute. Yeah, thank you, judges.
Okay, thank you to Deputy Leader of Opposition. So to open the case of closing opponent, let's call member of government.
Okay, let me set my stopwatch first. Okay. I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Well, our motion today is this House will give 2 votes for Eastern Indonesia. And before coming to my team argument, let me give some rebuttal for the opposite team side of this House. The opposite team of this House said that this kind of 2 votes I increase the problem of nationality. For example, it will create a kind of another discrimination, and it will create some jealousy from other from outside of the Eastern Indonesia itself. But in here we believe that this is not just a short conflict between this kind of discrimination, but this conflict is happened from a long time ago. That this is fair. Why the region of Yogyakarta gets special right? This is because there is a history before you and I born into this world. There is a contract when the special region of Yogyakarta want to join with Indonesia, but there is an Aceh want to join Indonesia. There is still a contract from them. We do respect on what they struggle for. This is such like a Indonesia government respect and feedback for those country on how they still apply their old regulation. For example, on Aceh, they still use Islamic regulation, and then in the Yogyakarta, there is still use their kesultanan as their government. And here we believe that this is not the discrimination, but this is the reward from the government itself on how they respect and how they respect on the what.
First of all,
those region is is coming. No thanks, and we believe when the opposite team set of this House, the Eastern Indonesia is already get some specialization from scholarship, education, and on how they're specialized on the some job, and then there is no thanks. There is a transportation by the government on how they give the facilitation. But we believe in here on the fact, ladies and gentlemen, we believe on how the government work on this Eastern by doing this kind of facilitation. But first, we do realize that there is still a denying from the Eastern Indonesia itself. It is from Papua or Merauke, and from that that there is still deny. And in here we believe that there is appear a question that is it right that the government really hear what the Eastern Indonesia want, ladies and gentlemen? We believe that this is really what we can guarantee about that, because we believe on the history before that, on the first time that this kind of Eastern Indonesia on this Papua, no thanks, on this Papua is coming to Indonesia is when there is
like conference that Eastern Indonesia is representative by not from Eastern Indonesia itself, and this is we believe that from the history this is a very long, complicated, and so we back to my team argument that first, what make us different from the government, from the opening government side of this house. The opening government side of this house failed to give what is the urgency of this kind of motion, and then why this is justified on how we give 2 votes for Eastern Indonesia. And first, okay, we accept on how they say that we will give free vote when there is a cheating or there is a natural disaster happen when the election happens. So we believe in here that but there is any urgency, that more urgency, that why these 2 votes are happen on the Eastern Indonesia itself. Why this is urgency, ladies and gentlemen? Because we believe that in status quo, so many conflict come from Eastern Indonesia. It comes from long time ago, from our history about human right violation, just like discrimination, business competition, political conflict, environment conflict, and this conflict come from a very, very complicated reason that we can and we believe that for example, there is existence of Papua Merdeka movement. This we believe that the government is treat them like a shit, and so that there is a conflict movement from them on how they struggle for their right. And then second, why this is justified for the government to give them Eastern Indonesia 2 votes, because we believe Indonesia should take prioritize to this Eastern Indonesia in election to avoid conflict and this separation, just like what happened in Timor case. The government should put more attention. This kind of 2 votes is like the kind of government care
Point,
about
please.
them by give this special politic right, ladies and gentlemen.
Point,
And
please.
why we believe
Point, please.
and coming to my team argument, why we agree with this motion, because we have 2 reasons. The first, this is the good solution
Point,
for solving
please.
conflict. Second, it will create the better political system. So no thanks. The first is this is the good solution for solving conflict, because we believe we recognize the existence of inequality in Indonesia. For example, in development of infrastructure, the facilities such as internet, many more education, economic that happen in that. And in here, we believe that by doing this kind of 2 votes, their voice are very valuable on how they develop their country, so that this kind of inequality and this conflict, we can help on the mediation media and something like that. And second is will create the better political system, because we believe that it will create because we believe there is a more like representative from them. By give these 2 votes, it will bring more confidence, bring power, double power on them, on how their confidence, even because we believe they are minority, that it will create political parties coming from the Eastern Indonesia. It will create the better political system on how we encourage the democracy inside our country, and we believe this will give the more valuable voice. It will so that this kind of 2 votes is really helpful for giving us the more democracy of Indonesia. Okay, so that I'm
Okay,
back
thank
for
you
the motion.
to member government for your speech. To continue the case of this debate, let's call member of opposition.
Aduh, I should relog.
Hajar, Wan.
Anyway, we cannot hear you.
I'm sorry, a little bit interrupting. Is there any further education after this, Mr.
Guys,
Peters?
can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can
Yes.
hear you.
Am I audible now? Hi guys.
Ajarwan.
Udah kedengeran nggak sih? Can anyone respond?
Yes, you are audible.
Oke. Waduh. Of course I'm
Excuse me. There's your sound is unclear.
Okay.
Who's speaking now? For the member of the opposition?
Itu Kak Yayat, Dad.
No.
Is anyone speaking?
Yes, I think no one's speaking here.
Yeah.
Aduh, kayaknya banyak isu nih, bahaya.
Where is the member of opposition?
It's me.
Ini kan si Awan.
It's you.
Can you guys hear me though? What the fuck?
Yes, your voice is clear now. You can start.
Okay, just shut up now. Okay, let me clear.
Language.
Okay, to start this debate, let's call member of opposition. Thank you.
Okay, for POI preference, I prefer you guys to open your mic. Okay, that's it. I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. We think that the condition in Eastern is not as bad as most likely the media or the people in Western are trying to portray or perpetuate. Like everything is rare or hard to find, less poverty and other equipments or etc. So we think this narrative is something that we must decline in order to keep what? To keep the sustain of democracy, for example, the 5 principle of our nation, when justice is supposed to be deployed to any kind of act like voices, for example, and the stability of the government itself. If your biggest concern is because the government has lack of attention within the Eastern on accessibility, for example, then you are wrong. Since what we have now is the evolving of circumstances like establishing more. What is the proof of that? Of course, we have Jokowi. Jokowi has the highest amount of voice in Papua, for example, which means that, of course, he is going to pay attention towards what Papua is, and he is ready to build Papua to be better or any Eastern kind of side. Because, yeah, we have a lot of those borders, for example, in order to create a better exchange or better trade-offs towards province or etc. If your biggest concern is because the people is actually being oppressed, discriminations, injustice, poverty, or any social extent, then you were actually wrong again, since we have the same condition in Western where this social extent is actually more larger and poverty is actually higher in the Western because we have those kind of lifestyle, for example, that is being perpetuated towards the society. You're going to get forced, you're going to get coercion to follow up what exactly happened there. So that's why we are going to turn out more in terms of instability that is being perpetuated by the opening government and closing government. So we should kick them from this debate, ladies and gentlemen, because all of those kind of things that they mentioned is actually exist in Western as well, ladies and gentlemen. And the third one is, and we think with the current effort of the government, when they have aware enough within the Eastern, and when the whole territory is actually have the same problem as I mentioned previously, so we absolutely going to disagree of creating any new extent or any act that privileges certain community, since our nation stands as one unity was described by our democracy systems as an example. Now I'm going to engage with the case of opening government and CG at the very first place. Let's talk about OG's cases, ladies and gentlemen. The conclusion of the case from OG is that they are actually trying to enhance more of emerging frauds or cheating, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about their first speaker at the very. It's like there's a contradictions between their first speaker and their second speakers. Their first speaker talking about, okay, 2 votes means giving them twice opportunity to elect, like revote because there's election issues, for example. And the second one is talking about, okay, we're gonna give twice vote individually towards the like we're going to give vote individually or the parties, for example, which means this is a bit contradictive in terms of giving mechanism. But okay, the same But the thing that I want to conclude here, both of those mechanisms is having the same problem. The problem is this mechanism will not actually support the case of government in order to pursue better Eastern, ladies and gentlemen. That's why they don't have any urgency. But instead, they're giving more burden. The opening government cannot engage within their case on how the concern or the worst scenario when you give the revote, like how the response of the Western would be, for example, when you give a very unequal in terms of voting. Of course, the narrative moreover creates rebellizations in West that most of the government side is not actually engaged with. The second one, I'm going to talk about election issue, which coming from opening government, where they're talking about error in voting, ladies and gentlemen, like giving the second chance to revote. I don't understand why we should suggest for revote. Meanwhile, most of the error of voting is actually coming from the individual voters, which means it's their accountability to be safe in order to vote and have the legitimate voice. So you cannot blaming government as the reason of certain voice is not counted. You cannot say that, ladies and gentlemen. The conclusion of that is the problem with the case of OG is they actually don't have any reason to approve these motions. Like, what exactly your goal to give people 2 votes? As I said, if you think of the condition in Eastern is in murk or dirty, less attentions, less accessibility, or any social extent like discrimination, then it's an inferior reason, because in Western or even in the most developed country, we're actually facing the same shit, which means it's not justified for you to balance conditions when you're going to sacrifice the democracy, for example. Let's talk about EG though. Well, not talking about contract. We don't talk about contract. We're talking about the current circumstances that exist in Eastern and Western, ladies and gentlemen. So when we say to you, we are going to perpetuate to you that Eastern is actually fine, but we want to find out from your side, ladies and gentlemen, is CG or whatever you are, what is the urgency of giving this to? Like, you're talking about discriminations. What is the difference between OG and CG at the end of the day? You're talking about better systems. We're talking about denying what? Okay, let's just one by one talking about it. You're talking about like you're creating better political system. How can you say it will be better when you are going to tarnish the idea of democracy, which we held for many years though? Our great heroes are sacrificing their life in order to create our better Indonesia, and then suddenly you are going to desecrate all of those efforts, those endeavors, by saying that you are going to create better political system by giving 2 votes to Eastern, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why we're actually tackling them down. The thing, furthermore, I'm going to talk about here. What exactly the nowadays Eastern real conditions? The government is establishing many things in Eastern which you guys actually not mention, right? For example, in Papua or else, like road or housing, public transportation has actually been mentioned by the opening opposition. It's actually being built right there. So you don't really have any urgency in order to give 2 votes if you're talking about accessibility, ladies and gentlemen. Because yeah, we think that the government actually did good jobs towards that. If you don't see simply because our current president has the highest vote rank in Eastern of Papua, which means he has the responsibility to build the territory which he owns within the voice he got. Second, I'm going to talk about how this narrative will emerge instability towards our country. Yeah, democracy is being outpointed by the opening opposition. What about the 5th principle of Pancasila, though? When you're trying to tarnishing the like our fundamental basic as Indonesia, when the 5th principle say that justice for everyone means that it's justice for everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we know that the fact that justice is not going to be approved 100%, but if you are giving 2 votes within people, which means that you are going to tarnish even more the justice, because you're not going to create an equal vote, and then the second one is the highest a privilege that is going to get a bigger burden towards the others. The third is the contingency of imbalanced voice. The thing is, I want to clarify that we don't think that the issue is not because of the less populations we have in Eastern, ladies and gentlemen, right? So there is no urgency in order for you to say that, okay, the population is less, we have to give them 2 votes. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's actually not. Maybe it is, yes, but it is superficial in order for you to say that is an urgency. The fourth one, I'm going to talk about the response of the Western or the whole nationwide people. This is the most dangerous things that not been mentioned by any team, ladies and gentlemen. Like the Westerns would be, like imagine if they are being rebel, because we know that all of the markets, for example, all the systematical things is actually being run in Western. And what if they are being rebel, if this kind of things, they because of course they're going to say that this is unequal things within them. So that's why being rebel for them is justified, because yeah, the government itself is going to give you 2 votes, which is going to be dangerous, and so on and so forth. And for that, we stand as opposition, very proud to oppose.
Okay, thank you to member of oppositions. To close the case of government, let's call government whip. Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Audible. All right. So I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2,
one. Okay, so the opposition team side, they say that why Eastern Indonesia should do this, that why Eastern Indonesia should get 2 votes, because we know that not only about Eastern Indonesia, but also notice that Eastern Indonesia is always the main point among the society. This is also proves by that in Eastern Indonesia, Papuans have long experienced racist treatments in Indonesia, but have been pressured to keep quiet in the name of unity, harmony, and forgiveness. That this is also common in our society. That's why we need to raise the awareness of society that it is actually racism exists in our society because of this different appearance, psychology, ideology, and economy. These are the main factors that are considered something really important among the society. It can be happen in many forms, like in education, social service, and etc. This is why we need to give them 2 votes over this matter. And also, no thanks. And also, then what prevents us? No thanks. And also that we have to keep in mind that they also say that it's not as bad as the media said. Okay, the CEO said that it's not as bad as the media said. Notice that what prevents us from knowing the truth is that the access restrictions on international media or national media, the rights of observers to determine an accurate counts, is that we know that the province of Papua, particularly in West Papua, has the least internet access and connection. So no thanks. So this could be one of the reasons why many Indonesians are not aware yet on this matter. So this is why there is the access restriction in Eastern Indonesia. That's why the CEO say that it's not as bad as media said. That is why, because we need to raise this awareness to the media that it is actually worse than what the media says, and we should open up the media. And also they say that we have Jokowi. This is why we have Jokowi. But on the contrary, Jokowi is not really on Eastern. Is not really interested on Eastern. That proves through the building contractor and etc. It proves that Jokowi is only interested in Western Indonesia because they have so many things like the better building contractor and education. We know this is the real proof in our life. And also, you know that the also say that transportation is the main matter in this case. In order to reach a better transportation inequality in Indonesia, we need to change the perspective of the social. And also, the CEO, the leader opposition, said that the idea of democracy. Notice that democracy is the place to reflect our nation election. But the public is that. But the public opinion are not on. The public opinion are not on Eastern Indonesia. And also, a long time ago, why this motion exists? Because a long time ago, human rights observers and local activists say hundreds of thousands have been killed since the 1960s by security force. And this is also proven by the news that I watched in August 2019 in Surabaya, that where many Papuans people, especially the Western Papuan who go study there, they tend to be called monkey. This is why we need to give them 2 votes in order to make equality in this session. And also, what I want to make this going into my own argument is that what makes us really different from the opening government is that we can, through this kind of matter, is that also we know that Papuans are Melanesian origin, and many Melanesian people are also identified as Black. So this is also the common main point that. So we know that referendum is an adoption or any changes needed for a better change by taking approval from the country people itself. That's why we need to arrange the opinion of the people because of this matter. And also, you know what, guys, that Eastern Indonesia is left behind in terms of their education and all that stuff. So that's why we need to urge. And also, you know what, guys, coming into my argument also that the inequality, the economic inequality is that the economic inequality. We know that in Papua they have so many potential, nature potential, but the Western people come to the Papuan in order to make them as a slaves. And this is what common people think of the Eastern Indonesia, and they are left behind. In Eastern Indonesia, they have gold mine, copper mine, that which is we know as tambang emas and tambang tembaga in Indonesia, and this is why this is also another point of contention that we need to pay attention on. That Eastern Indonesia is actually can be better or fair. In order to Western Indonesia, just because of just if we focus on the two votes, because this racism is accessed in this Papuan Lives Matters, and also regarding to this motion, I strongly agree with this motion that we need to give two votes for the Eastern Indonesia and raise the awareness of most societies that there is no access internet connection access internet restrictions to the Eastern Indonesia anymore, so that the public can see the Eastern Indonesia as a fair nation, not only as the left behind nation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you to government whip. So to close this debate, let's.
Am I audible?
Semangat, Zen.
Am I audible, guys?
Hello? Yes.
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia is one country which has a 5 principle, has an ideology, has some rule that relate with the theory. We put a society as a subject of politics, not subject of politic, not object of politic. So, which means that we are having a fairy system. We already having a system to know to know the position of society, especially in the Eastern or in all those islands in Indonesia, which means that this we are not directly give a special attention for those Eastern by giving them 2 votes, because we already having the rule that even any problem that Eastern have but we are already having the rule of Indonesian as the unity as the country which is like we are having a theory of all island, so we cannot give them 2 votes directly because of the reason, just because of they are having a discrimination, because of they are having a lower attention from the government. We are not giving them directly like 2 votes, because it's one we already having the source by our 5 principle, which means if we give them, we are directly melanggar Pancasila, and ideology is Pancasila is become our ideology in Indonesia. And ladies and gentlemen, from those speech from the governments, just say that most of speech from the government say that we will give them we will give 2 votes for Eastern people, because of they are having a discrimination, because of having a lower attention, because of they are having a lot of problem, because of they are having a lot of war in their region, and also because of something that relate with natural disaster. So we give them natural disaster always happen to Eastern people, to Eastern location. That's why we give them 2/4 two votes in election. It's not for completing those problems. It's not by giving them 2/4, but the government already give them a lot of attention for making them same as the other island. Actually, Eastern Island already have a lot of attention from government, also from the other island, that right now in Indonesian people already understand about how to respect, how to not see this as Eastern people are different. We already understand about it, so we are not giving them 2/4 as the solution, but we already give them because the government already give them the solution for example, like giving them more change for become military, for giving them more change for become a civil servant, or change for getting work easily. So that's already become the solution. So we approach to
POI.
no, thank you. So we approach to say that we are disagree about for giving them 2/4 for Eastern people because of those problems that Eastern people have. And also, if we see that if we give them 2/4 directly, it's as back to our five principle that we already having a fair rate. Where Indonesia is Indonesia is putting the society become the subject of politics. So we are having the same position about the politic, about the election, which means that everyone has their own choices, own votes, not because of you are having a problem, which means that you are having you are having a 2/4 directly, not. So So if we give those Eastern people 2/4, it's gonna be getting more war. Why do I say so? Because the other island will feel same. Why Eastern people get 2/4 and my island is not get 2/4? Because they are feeling that they're feeling that the government already give the more attention for Eastern people, but don't care about the other island. That's the problem. The problem is we're getting more problem happen. It's gonna be not showing up, not showing Indonesian is our become unity country. So that's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. So giving 2/4 is not capable to those Eastern Indonesian. And
POI.
No, thank you. And okay, about giving Eastern people privilege. I told you before that we already give them privilege by the government, by the people who are coming, by the government, by the people, which is we know that Eastern people right now already understand about how government look them, how government give them like a privilege, a lot of privilege for Eastern people, because we know if we trying to give them special attention by giving them 2/4, it's gonna be getting a lot of war, a lot of more problem, a lot of issues that will be coming. It's just gonna be like having a more problem. And also for the solution for this discrimination is we are the Eastern people. Wait. What is for giving the solution is not by giving them 2/4, but by giving them more but by giving them more attention by the economic, by the society, by the building, by the anything that relate with for completing their island, for making the same place for Eastern Island like other islands. So for giving them 2/4 is not capable, because of this is not showing up showing is directly melanggar aturan Pancasila and Undang-Undang Dasar. That's why we approach to deny this 2/4 for Eastern Indonesian. Thank you. Hello? I'm done, guys. Is that anyone? Nggak ada suara.
Okay. Udah Kak. Okay, thank you for opposition whip. I think that is the end of our debate. Thank you for your speech, guys, and very nice debate. Because this is silent round and you need to wait which one of you guys becoming the grand finalist. Thank you.
Kak, a little
Yeah,
bit.
halo.
May I ask
Okay.
a question?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there any rules that we should not take any POI or like in the first beginning of our speech to like have a notice to other speakers to do not POI us? Is there any rules of that?
No, actually there is no rule. Selama dari 1 menit sampai 6 menit itu kalian berhak buat POI. Tapi yang tim lain juga berhak untuk menolak POI. Mungkin because we don't know the reasons why. Karena kan ada mungkin dari kalian yang kayak nggak mau ke distrap karena banyak sekali argumen yang masih belum disampaikan, or karena emang nggak mau nerima POI. That's why there's no rule masalah itu.
Okay, thank you, Kak.
Okay, good luck everyone. Ini aku kemana ya?
Okay, can you guys please proceed to the main hall because we will have a short deliberation. Thank you for everyone, yeah, including the committee as well.
I will do anything.
Yeah, unmute itu.
Sorry.
Di record lagi. Okay, please directly proceed to the main hall. Marini Mandalika, Jumriati, then co-host terus TK Arwan.
Innalillahi jing.
Innalillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Jumriati, can you please proceed to the main hall?
Okay, Jumriati, please.
Ini co-host siapa? Timekeeper juga. Timekeeper bisa langsung ke main hall juga ya.
Jumriati.
Ya, thank you.
Maaf tim CG.
Yeah, I didn't mean to
Yeah,
like.
karena itu
You
memang
guys
aturannya.
gave us a lot of interruptions. Actually, POIs are not more than 4 POIs. It's just 3 limitations.
No, I mean 4. I think.
That was so intense.
We did 4.
Kalau setahu saya emang harus ada jeda 15 detik kan? Ya,
Iya,
makanya
tapi tadi terus dipepet kayak gitu.
Ya, I didn't mean karena emang ada POI sih, cuman ya it's okay if you don't accept.
Yeah, but that's okay. This is just a debate anyway. Competition though.
Halo, Kak Iqbal, are you here? Udah selesai, Kak?
Yes.
Okay. Yayat, are you here? Not yet. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, and opening government from room 1, are you here?
Yeah, we're here. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, we are here, Kak.
CG,
Yes, we're here.
CO from room 1.
Hadir Kak, sorry.
Okay. OO from room 2. Opening opposition from room 2. Are you here? Okay. Opening opposition from room 2.
We are here.
Okay. Closing government from room 2. Closing government room 2. Are you here? Closing opposition from room 2. Are you here?
Yes, we're here.
Okay. So we're still missing OG from room 2. OG room 2, are you here again? OG and close CG from room 2. So I think we're going to proceed into the announcement of who's making it into the grand final. So I would like to I think we'll call the opening government first from room 2.
Opening government ini.
Opening government NCG, closing government from room 2. Please answer if you're here. Alright, so I think announce aja kali ya. Alright, so I think we're going to directly announce the winners of each team, of each room. So I'm going to invite the chair of the debate from round 1, from room 1 to Sarviani Dayat, time and place.
Wait, mau di-record katanya tuh.
Oke. Udah di-record nggak sih ini? Udah.
Udah ya?
Maybe.
Udah. Halo guys. Okay. In room, I would like to give the announcement for room 1. In room 1, we have Laufal as OG and Apprentice Green Exchange as OO. And we have Skylight as CG and Kelor Kelak Santan as CO. And the teams that proceed to the grand final, congratulations to CG and CO. Woo!
Okay, cool. Congratulations for the grand finalists from room 1. And then we are going to announce the grand finalists from room 2. I would like to invite Kak Iqbal as the chair.
All right. Well, thank you, Jagat, for giving me the time. In my room, it was a debate between OG Maba UNRAM, opening opposition ESG, closing government Dominions, and closing opposition the Queens. With a quite clear margin, I would like to congratulate the opening bench, opening government, and opening opposition. Congratulations.
All right, congratulations everyone. So we would like to arrange the grand final round. So please wait a moment. Thank you. Yayat, can you please fill out the ballot first? Thank you.
Okay.
Halo Kak, sorry Kak Jagat.
Yes.
I want to ask regarding the schedule. Are we going
Yeah.
to start the grand final right now?
Yes, we're going to start the grand final soon.
I'm so sorry Kak. I'm so sorry, but because I saw in the rundown that the grand final is going to start at 12, like a week ago or like less than a week ago, I told my friend that I'm able to join a mentoring at 11. So I'm afraid that if we start the grand final, not based of the on the rundown, I cannot fulfill my mentoring. I'm so sorry for this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll have a discussion first. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Kak, for the